Hey guys, welcome back to another movie review. Today I'm going to be watching 3 band movies and living that true, authentic band life. I'm going to be watching 3 band movies that you've never heard of. And those 3 band movies that I've chosen are Uncle Peckerhead, The Rocker, and Losers Take All. All 3 of these are good in their own right, and they all take the message of I'm a rocker and I'm trying to make it on my own very differently. And I kind of want to show you these 3 movies that you've most likely never heard of. To get into the right spirit of band life, I think I needed a quick few adjustments to my outfit. There we go. Now I'm a proper rock star, you know? To start off right, we're going to start with Uncle Peckerhead. And that's the one I'm sure most of y'all were intrigued by, you know? Immediately, the movie tells us that everything we're going to be seeing is based off a true story. I wouldn't believe that if you are. We see a corpse that's been cannibalized as the culprit bends down and takes himself a little nibble. We are then greeted to the movie's main character, Judy, as she's quitting her job to pursue a lifelong dream of being a rock star. She cuts off Doris' send-off speech to meet Amir, a music producer, and gives him a demo. Amir is updating his sign because he lost Stark Dick for his upcoming show featuring the Queef Queens. And Judy here makes quick work to make sure that she can get that opening slot before anyone else can. Amir tells her that he'll consider it, and as she leaves, she tells him that she'll call later, with his reply being this:
"If you call me before Friday morning, I'm going to burn the demo."
Judy walks in to see her singer passed out on the floor. She wakes him up by dropping a bag. Max gives a perfectly reasonable answer as to why he didn't clean up the first place, though, like he was supposed to.
But then I needed to get high, because I hate cleaning. But then I got tired, because weed makes me sleepy. Then I needed to sleep, so I slept. I'm sorry.
Judy calls for a band meeting to go over their tour, where they're going to be playing 6 shows, with a possibility of a 7th being the Queef Queen show, where Jen Jennings, the drummer, will be playing, and she just happens to own Alliteration Records, with the hope being that they can get a record deal and getting a happy ending.
What you got there?
This is a gallon of PCP.
Wow! A gallon?
Yes. Yeah.
Fucking A.
They go outside to head out on the road to see their van being repoed. The band prints flyers, putting them on random people's vans in hopes that one will agree to give their van for a week. The last guy they approach, of course, is living in his van, and approaches them about their offer. This actor makes this movie to the point where this almost wasn't made until they found this guy who just happened to get back into acting. And honestly, that's really cool, because without him, this movie just wouldn't work. You could probably get away with replacing some of these actors and actresses, but without Peck, this movie wouldn't be the same. You need Peck, and you need this actor for this movie to really work. The strange man offers to drive them all and be their roadie as long as they can pay for gas and throw him a couple of bucks here and there, since he can't let them just take his van, you know. They take up his offer and leave to go pick up Mel and the rest of the band equipment, and it's here where we learn his name is Peckerhead.
That is not your name.
Well, that is what my daddy called me till the day he died.
Not exactly the most, orthodox name, but I like it. The band sits around until the promoter arrives and Max is playing guitar while Peck and Mel play cards, and Judy is sitting bored in the van away from everyone else. What a little loser. She opens up his glove compartment and finds Los Drogas. We don't play with drugs. When the promoter does finally fucking arrive, we learn that it's a showcase and only their band is playing. And they need to be prepared for 3 hours with a 15-minute break between sets. And you know what they have? 20 minutes of original material and 22 of the Misfits cover.
Oh, brother, this guy stinks!
They get paid a total of 3 schmackaroos. That being $1 a head. It's almost midnight and Peck decides that he needs to use the bathroom and leaves. Some time passes and Judy decides that she should go check on Peckerhead. And upon entering the promoter's room, she sees Peck. Except now he's got gray skin and monster teeth, and oh yeah, he's eating the fucking promoter while shitting everywhere. Judy understandably runs away back to the band, trying to drive away when Peck comes back to try and explain his side of the story. That being that he roughed up the promoter guy for a little extra cash. He even says that he's alive. But when they go and check out the rest of the body, they come to the conclusion that, yeah, no, he's fucking dead. Peck offers them dinner so that they can talk about what happened, and so that Peck can keep his van. Over at the restaurant, Peck admits that it was wrong and that he should have ran it by them first to see if it was okay to murder that promoter, and that he should have been more upfront about his condition, and assures us that he's got it under control. When Judy confronts him about the drugs, he states that he uses them to sedate himself. And that the reason he didn't do it last night is because he thought that promoter deserved it, and also lack of funds. Perfectly logical decision. I say, let's let him stay. And so does the rest of the band, except for Judy's punk ass. A whole night goes by without any Peckerhead monsters showing up, so they hit the road to their next stop. Nick's house, the bassist of Pissface. I'll let Peckerhead say how he feels about him.
Are you guys talking about blowjob eyes?
Gonna be referring to people as that from now on. Just as Judy and Blowjob Eyes are getting it on, Peck interrupts saying that he needs his insulin shot. Judy comes back and they actually get it on this time with Peck watching. Odd, since he's sedated. We cut to the next destination where we meet Shiloh, the lead singer and lyricist from Dominion Rising. And this guy is a fucking douchebag. I would love to see Peck rip out his nose ring and listen to this guy and you'll see what I'm fucking talking about.
I guess you could call our music a meditation on love and loss. But ultimately, I think it's just about the human experience.
The next night, the gang park in the middle of a parking lot and Judy goes to sleep with the promise that Mel and Max will sedate him. When Judy wakes up, however, she has the lovely sight of a bloodied up Peck getting a hose shower from Max. When asked what happened, we get the answer of
Metalheads.
in the parking lot. You should watch the scene in its full glory, as this scene is what made me fall in love with this movie, and it was growing on me beforehand, but this scene really sold it, and me talking about it isn't going to do it justice. You should actually go out and watch this movie on your own and see the scene for itself. But if you don't care about watching it for yourself and you just want to listen to me, talk about it like some jackass, well, here you go. So two metalheads show up playing their music incredibly loud and spilling beer on themselves. Because why not, And they hit Max on the head with a can of beer as he's getting Peck a blanket. Peck tries to get them to leave, and they laugh directly in his face. Wow, fuck these guys. Can't just be like that to my guy Peck. Peck is a cool dude. Peck turns into a monster and catches a beer can that one of them throws, launching back into their stereo. The other metalhead goes for a punch and gets his hand bitten off, as well as his face ripped off. Face. Off.
His face. The face.
See if that's a reference anyone gets. R.I.P. Bozo. The other guy gets the classic Sub-Zero fatality as it rains down blood.
Finish him. Sub-Zero wins. Fatality.
Judy is upset by their story since they all broke their promise. Mel tries to defend Max and Peck, and before Judy can continue the argument, she realizes that it's Friday, and that means she needs to call Amir so that she can find out if he listened to the demo and if she is going to be opening for the Queef Queens. Spoilers, they did! Judy runs into Shiloh again. Fuck this fucking pretentious asshole. And he tells them that the promoter said they're headlining tonight, and he would like them to call the promoter to get the time switched since Bernardsville is a home away from home from them. And yeah, sure, whatever you say, cunt. Judy doubles down, however, that they're closing and that Shiloh will be opening for them. Fuck yeah, Judy. You deserve this. At this point in the movie, I'm sure you're wondering, hey, this is a movie about a band, and, well, yes, we've heard little snippets of their band playing that do sound good. We haven't actually heard a single song from them, and, well, if you're gonna have a movie about a band, they need to sing and prove that they're good. Well, here's the first song that we see them play, and I really enjoy this song, to the point where I have it saved on my playlist. Peck is out there getting the crowd hyped the fuck up. At the motel, Judy apologizes to Peck about how she's been acting towards him, and says that because of him, it's the first time she felt like a rock star. She also lets him go to bed without sedating him. Real progress all around. Love these guys. They understand what it means to be a part of a band. Letting your monster friend kill some guys sometimes. Also, you can be a rock star. They go to the next avenue and we see how shitty of a band Dominion Rising really is.
Your heart as black as the crow in the midnight sky.
The song they play in the scene that's dedicated to Peck might be my favorite song in this whole movie, and I wish I could find it and add it to my mass conglomerate of songs. After the show, a girl comes up to them offering them a place to stay, saying it's fine with her grandma because another band is already staying with them. And which band is staying at that house? I'll give you 3 guesses. Pissface, Shark Dick, and Dominion Rising. It's Dominion Rising. Of course it's Dominion Rising. Fuck these pretentious ass motherfuckers. I hate Dominion Rising. I'm gonna say Dominion Rising as many goddamn times as I can in this sentence. Fucking, I hate Dominion Rising. There we go. One more time. Can I do it one more time? No, I don't think I gotta fuck Dominion Rising in me. I lied. I got one more in there. Anyway, they decide to stay the night, and I'm sure nothing bad will happen. Mel and Judy are watching the news when they learn that 2 motel workers were killed. And by the description of what happened, it's pretty clear that it was Uncle Peckerhead. Judy and Mel go looking for Max and discover that Dominion Rising tied him up and are planning to do the same to Judy and Mel so that they won't be able to play tomorrow. So yeah, Peck kills Dominion Rising and kidnaps that girl and her grandma. We get quick snippets of what happened to each member. And Shiloh got what he deserved, maybe? I don't know if he deserved that or worse. I personally would have liked to have seen his nose ring get ripped off, but this is fine, I guess. Either way, Dominion Rising is dead, and that's all I really cared about. Judy pulls out the car registration, which belonged to Esteban Mendoza, who I'm assuming is the gentleman we saw at the beginning of the movie that Peck first killed. Peck admits that he's been injecting himself with water, and Peck convinces them to do the show tonight and plan their next move. With how Max and Mel acted towards the metalheads, I honestly thought they would do whatever the fuck Uncle Peckerhead said. But I guess 2 things matter here. 1, not drunk, and 2, innocent girl and innocent grandma. At the venue, everyone is still freaked out, trying to keep a calm, level head about themselves, as Judy is approached by none other than Jen Jennings. And she tells her that she listened to Doug's demo the other day and she really liked them. As Judy is talking to Jen, she sees Peck being shifty, and Jen tells her that they need to meet for a meeting to talk about future plans. Judy goes over to Peck and kicks him out of the band, with everyone else agreeing, and Peck threatens them since it's close to midnight and all. Now maybe this is just me, but personally, I'd let him stay, as the worst thing he's done in my opinion is just kidnap this little girl and grandma. The promoters, fuck man, maybe those were guys that Chris Hansen should have gotten, but Peck beat them first. I am in defense of Peckerhead. That's what I'm getting at. Peckerhead can do no wrong, and Peckerhead is the greatest rock star to have ever lived. Prove me wrong. I'm waiting. As Judy's about to get on stage, a police officer asks her if the van outside is hers, and Peck walks away. The band gets arrested for everything that Peck did while on tour, and 8 months later they get acquitted because of the girl and grandma testifying, stating that there was a 4th mysterious person responsible. The song at the end here is awesome. Oh god! The song at the end here is awesome, I dig it. As they are playing, Judy spots Peck as the clock hits midnight, and we are left with the sight and sound of Judy's terrified face with the screams of the damned. My experience with Uncle Peckerhead, by the way, is kind of similar to Judy. When I first watched this movie, I didn't care. It wasn't even my pick, it was one of my friend's picks. And as I was watching the movie, I was just like, this is so really kind of a dumb plot, I don't really care. And then, once the metalhead scene happened, it kind of changed everything for me. I started to love this movie. I really liked the character of Peckerhead at that point. And the whole thing just started getting intriguing as the whole band was just like, oh, yep, we're cool with this now. This movie is incredible. I love it so much. It has everything that I would want. A little bit of horror, a little bit of comedy, heart, a good cast, and a great list of songs, which is what matters when making a movie about a band. Hold on, I just realized I'm missing a very important piece of the fit, as it were. So, give me 1 second, I'll be right back. There we go. Now we can continue with the reviews. And our next movie is The Rocker. The movie opens with a pretty banger opening song, which gives me hope that the rest of the songs in this movie will be good or better. And, oh shit, Dwight. What the fuck are you doing here? Vesuvius is celebrating a gig that they just played when their manager sends Fish out to get some drinks, while unveiling the news to the rest of the band. Matchbook Records is going to sign them as long as the president's nephew can join and replace Fish as drummer. And no way the fucking Vesuvius is gonna let that happen. I mean, they'll do drugs in front of a police officer, slap a homeless man's titties, fucking piss in a bitch's drink. Why? Because they're fucking rock stars. There's no way they're just gonna fucking do it. What they do care about, however, is opening for Whitesnake. So they go on and sign the deal, and the nephew becomes the drummer, and hope, I just hope that Fish isn't gonna take it too badly. I mean, it kind of sucks getting kicked out of your band, especially if you named it, but, I think Fish is going to be a completely mature, responsible... 20 years down the line, he's living the dream as a worker for Zamet's Metal Racking. Fish's co-worker Tom Haverford is talking about the new Vesuvius album, and while the two of them are speaking to customers, Tom decides to start playing some Vesuvius, which, of course, sends Fish into a deep spiral of hatred, resulting in him beating the shit out of Tom. Fish understandably gets fired for beating the shit out of Tom, and everywhere he goes, he just keeps seeing Vesuvius posters. I was looking up a clip for this movie, I don't remember why, and I found out that the guy Fish is sitting next to in this scene is Pete Best, who was in the Beatles before they replaced him when they got big. This movie is like kind of loosely inspired by his life. It goes past the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, and every masterpiece has its cheap copy. Because he's exhausted all other options, he's now forced to stay in his sister's attic until he can get a place of his own. Fish's nephew Matt and his band are practicing in his garage so that they can get ready for prom. Their drummer comes by with his mom and has to explain why he can no longer play. The reason being, he got his whole fucking Spanish class high on pot brownies. What a fucking gangster. The band begins to search for a new drummer because at this point that's all they can do. And they're just looking for anything, because you'll see that there are some strange picks that they consider. Like, we have Crackhead Jones, Danny the Beatboxing King, I like his confidence, and Trey the Techno Wizard doing whatever the fuck this dance is. Fish comes in to end the train wreck, and with no other options, the band decides to send Matt to try and convince Fish to join their band. Matt is able to convince Fish because this might be Matt's only chance to get with the ladies. And god damn, what an outfit. The band is freaking out because they go on in 5 minutes and haven't even rehearsed. Once Fish realizes this, he pukes and puts it in his pocket. Like a rabbit's foot. Got our rituals. The best part of this prom scene is Fish's face. He gets really fucking into it. The band gets mad at Fish because he outperformed everyone and ruined prom, supposedly. And he was a little bitch about this. This fucking rocked, alright? That solo kicked ass. You can't be a bitch about that. Come on. That was awesome. Fish comes over to Kurt's house, and he is totally gonna try and bang this kid's mom. I mean, I get it. Christina Applegate is a weakness to most men.
I'm gonna go your mom.
Fish apologizes for the way he acted at prom and promises to get them all a real gig. Fish calls and goes to a bunch of places just in any hopes of a showcase from them, when he runs into Kurt at a coffee shop. Fish asks him how many songs that Kurt has written, and he says that he's gotten 211 songs. Alright, with that many songs, you already have more than Duh, so you can do a showcase, make an album or a mixtape or anything. You can do so much more than what Duh did, and Duh was getting it done. Kurt's issue is that he thinks that no one will just want to listen to your songs, and that's some bullshit. Fish takes him to do what he likes to call the drive test, which is driving around with no place to go, and if you feel on top of the world, then you know you're onto something. And I gotta say, he's right, because this song is both kick-ass and makes you feel on top of the world. Cleveland?
Knowing she was going to die. So we start at the night of the murder, and then we rewind.
Shadow Person, I get you want to watch Mr. GG. I like Mr. GG myself, but I'm in the middle of recording. Fish does as he promised and gets them a gig at Fort Wayne, Indiana. But there's only one problem: they're all in high school and can't go. Amelia comes up with the brilliant plan of photoshopping a Bible flyer so that they can go under the pretense of a Bible mission. I see nothing wrong with this. Fish and Matt steal his mom's car. Solid plan. That is until she reports the car missing and they get arrested for stealing a car. Fish gets kicked out, and with no place else to go, he lives in a Chinese restaurant. Matt gives Fish a web camera so that they can continue band practice while Fish is at the Chinese restaurant, and because it's so hot there, Fish is just freeballing it. This might be considered a crime. This is most definitely a crime. Matt's sister decides to upload the video of them practicing, and gets famous just because of Fish being the naked drummer. A producer from Matchbook Records comes by to talk to the band because the video got so popular. David Marshall, their producer, announces that they're going to go on a Midwest tour. From this moment on, it's kind of a montage of the band being mature and Fish acting like a dumb 20-year-old rock star, which is just living the fucking rock star life, baby, come on! To the point where they actually all end up in jail. The parents come and pay the bail since Fish can stop acting like an immature 20-year-old, and decide to take their kids out of the tour. Kurt's mom decides that it's not fair for the kids to have to give up on their dreams since Fish can't behave himself, and she elects herself to go along with as a responsible party member. Dave gives them all a call to tell them that they're going to be in a music video, and the director of this is... he's something else.
Say the words backwards. I'm gonna put it in post and it's all gonna be forward. But you have to go backwards in order for me to make it forward. You get it? Nip, snap, man, tomorrow, never.
The band celebrating their latest gig, and Matt, my man, had a bra. The band is celebrating their latest gig, and Matt, my man, had a bra thrown at him. They leave to go somewhere else in a very yellow Hummer.
Seatbelts, everyone!
Fish makes his way back to the hotel and sees Kurt's mom playing Guitar Hero, and the two of them share what is a very nice moment. The next day, we get to see what that weird director came up with for his music video, and other than it doesn't show Fish. You'd think you want the naked drummer in your music video more, but what do I know? They've been asked to open for Vesuvius, and Fish freaks out when the producers already agreed, because of course he does. The producer tries to get the band to agree to get rid of Fish and replace him with someone else so that they can play for Vesuvius, and none of them agree to it. Kurt's mom tries to convince Fish's mind by telling him that he's already made it to the promised land, even if it's not with the same band that he was originally going to make it there with. And that he should also just forget about Vesuvius because this is really an unhealthy natural obsession that he has. This goes about as well as you'd expect with Fish, and he throws a temper tantrum. The producer catches Kurt's mom kissing Fish because she just wants him to shut up. Because of this, Kurt at the next concert announces that they're going to be opening for Vesuvius, and Fish quits the band. Kurt is also just unnecessarily a huge asshole to Fish in the scene, so whatever, fuck him. ADD gets a new drummer, and Kurt tries to act like he doesn't miss Fish. Fish, in the meanwhile, gets a haircut, and also a real job. With Stan. Kurt visits Fish at his job and convinces him to rejoin the band. Fish then lets everyone know that his band will indeed open for Vesuvius, and then the best body surf attempt is ever recorded on film. Fish is reminiscing about old bands he saw here, and of course, they run into Vesuvius, who are British now, for some reason.
Hello, kiddies. You the band that was supposed to launch?
They're also acting like they've got no clue who Fish is, as they've just suddenly forgot about him somehow, as if he didn't chase after them 60 miles per hour and try to murder them when they kicked him out of the band. I don't know how you could ever forget something like that. That's gonna stick with me forever. ADD goes out, plays their songs, rock out, you know the drill at this point. Then Vesuvius steps out, begins to rock out, and everything is going well, right up until the lead singer drops his fucking mic, and it's revealed that they're lip-syncing like a bunch of posers, and that explains the fake fucking British accents. Get out of here with that bullshit. We are Americans.
Boo! You stink!
Fans call out for ADD, and they go out to perform an encore, telling David that they're going to be looking for new management, and that he really shouldn't be here by the time they get done. I'm very curious to see what Fish would do if he stayed. I enjoyed this movie quite a lot. I think all the characters are enjoyable, and it's very clear to me that Rainn Wilson had a ton of fun playing Fish, and I think he should be remembered for that role more than Dwight, honestly. My favorite thing about this movie is its message of never giving up on your dreams. I mean, we see Fish in his 20s and again in his 40s accomplish his goal of being in a successful band. It just goes to show that if you just never give up on your dreams and keep pursuing it, Eventually, it'll happen. Just may take a little longer, or not that long at all. Just depends on how you go. This last one is arguably my favorite of the bunch, so let's get into... How did I forget the fucking title of the movie? It's Losers Take All, but like in that moment, I totally fucking spaced. Yo, this movie was the same distribution company that put out A Talking Cat. Now I know we're in for absolute cinema. This is gonna be peak filmmaking. Kevin Smith also helped make this movie, but who gives a shit about that when you have a talking cat fame, you know? Dave and Brian are having lunch listening to some music when Dave starts putting on a live version of Black Flag. Two jocks come up, diss the tunes, and beat them up. And as the two of them lay bloodied on the ground, they decide right then and there that they're gonna start a band. 2 years later, and they're living the dream playing a gig at a roller skating rink, when the drummer leaves because this is beneath him. This man clearly doesn't know how to vibe. Dave and Brian take their glasses and watch a D&D themed rock band. Give this band like another 20 years, they could have been something. Dave and Brian take special notice of the guitarist and drummer when they start doing their own thing and doing a solo that's honestly really fucking cool. And high off their asses, they go to talk to them and try and get them to join their band. Greg here is having a hard time because he's failing to keep a band managed, and he works for this company that makes him shoot commercials for mattresses. Poor Greg has lost another band, and damn, Greg, it's okay, you can come back. It's not that bad yet. You don't have to become an alcoholic, my dude. The band goes to a record shop so they can recommend bands to each other that they should listen to, and Lance pulls off the greatest heist in film history.
All these are on me. What are you doing?
Shopping.
Brian comes in to tell the rest of them that he's got a gig for them coming up this Friday. Every good band needs a good band name. I mean, we've had Duh and ADD. Okay, admittedly, those are not the best names. So let's see what these guys can come up with.
A Stranger. It's Brian's favorite book.
Guys, it's also the name of a fucking Billy Joel album.
The Fingers?
Dave, you're a creative genius.
Alright, you know what? I like the Fingers. The Fingers can stay. I like it. Brian has a real talent for picking bands that are not at all what his band should be playing. But once you know it, Greg is there, and he drops some cryptic wisdom for him.
1982, Detroit, Michigan. This is himself and shorts his guitar. On stage, the amp blows, catching fire. 3 roadies and a fan succumb to smoke inhalation. Chaos reigns.
We now have the band's fifth finger, Greg, who's going to help manage and promote the band. Greg comes in with good news.
You sell a sofa bed? No.
2 sofa beds.
Very funny, but I did sell a dinette set to this really nice...
You know what, Greg? I know they are haters, but I'm proud of you for selling that dinette set. The real reason he's here is to let everyone know that he got them a real gig that's not a pizza shop or, you know, a fucking roller rink. And that they also have studio time, so they can record an album. They play their songs at the venue, and Greg is getting it on. After the show, Brian and Dave meet Simone and Vicky, and Mindy is looking a lot different than I remember her. Oh man, I would fumble her so bad. Simone is dating Miles Monroe, owner of Miles Per Hour Record, which is a label that Dave and Brian want to be on.
Guys, if there's one thing I've learned, it's that chlamydia is not a flower.
Greg is out here giving us sexual education for free. Who'd have thought? At the studio, Dave is late because he had to be at one of those things people have that they have to be at. Right, work. But Greg doesn't care about that because he's a serious manager. The band plays every little thing, but because Dave wrote it, Brian has to be a little bitch about it. Brian and Dave's friendship reminds me of when you show a game to a friend and they immediately start getting better at it than you and learning more of the lore.
Huh. This is a new feeling. Pride in someone else. Unfortunately, it's overshadowed by all this unyielding rage!
Simone gives the band's demo to Miles Monroe, and he does the worst thing he can do, which is demote Greg. Is too dumb to realize that that's what happened. He's just been demoted to a roadie. I still stand by Greg. Greg gets me. Miles understands fashion. Miles tells them that he's got them booked for a couple of gigs, sell an LP for them, and book some real shows, and that during all of this, Simone will be their manager. Lance got the band a van for the road that he may or may not have swindled out of some old dude. And Greg, our boy, joins up as manager because Simone has to do other work for Miles.
You know, besides, Greg can handle it.
Let's do this!
The band makes it to the first gig, and Greg has everything under control, clearly. At the next gig, there's actually more people here than just Greg. Although Greg was repping, I'll be real, he carried that first venue. Oh, I've fucking been there. I know where they are right now. They're in Memphis. It's kind of crazy to watch a movie and, you know, suddenly be like, oh, wait a minute, I've been there. What the fuck? I can't even think of another movie that was filmed in Memphis. I wonder if that's how people from LA, or California in general, just feel. Or if people from Florida watching the Florida Project felt that way. Speaking of Greg, he's off getting addicted to cocaine while Lance flirts with a manic pixie dream girl. In exchange for Lance paying for a record, she gives the mushrooms. Brian, you give those fucking mushrooms back, you limp dick bitch. Lance got the goth girl mushrooms, not you. Brian gets off the phone with Michelle, who just told him that Miles pulled some strings to get them a show in DC, and also she is very clearly cheating on him. When they arrive, Greg crashes from all the coke he's done and watches the gear while Dave and Brian go to a bar and Lance and Billy go to a record show. On the way to a bar, they are approached by a trans prostitute who essentially robs them. But hey, as soon as they leave the bar, they're approached again by that same prostitute, and they apologize for what was essentially extortion. In acceptance of the apology, Brian gives them the mushrooms. And you should fucking go to jail for that, Brian.
Yeah, Brian. What are you doing?
Okay, that was a joke. So yeah, they get thrown in jail and have to miss their performance. Greg, the ever-loving genius that he is, sells all the band's gear for drugs. And they all leave DC, unhappy, depressed, and getting dropped off at different locations. Miles calls them in for a meeting basically to tell them how bad they fucked up. Also, Greg has upgraded from coke to meth, and because the band has no instruments, they've been dropped.
Crack, Greg, Jesus!
What? Brian and Dave get into a fight because, let's face it, Brian is a petty douchebag who thinks he is the face of the band, and can't accept it when Dave outperforms him even a little bit. Probably why he has Dave on bass. Greg entered rehab and has called Miles to assemble everyone. We learned that Greg, when he was apologizing to everyone for drug abuse, he happened to apologize to Paul Westerberg, who manages to get them a show where the Fingers will open for the Replacements again, and go on to tour with them. The band learned that the Replacements aren't playing the night and that they have to play in front of an angry mob, and they sound incredible, finally nailing every little thing. There's also a nice reference to the beginning of the movie. We can see a live tape being made like Dave was talking about in high school with Black Flag. Easily my favorite band movie of all time. It has so many, not just good songs, but memorable songs as well. My favorite song being Every Little Thing. That is easily my favorite song out of all three of these movies that I've got to review. The reason I love this band movie in particular so much is it just captures that band life so well, in my opinion. Like, the arguments, the songs, even the petty jealousy douchebaggery of Brian, it just makes it all feel very real. Well, I like all these movies for what they offer to the table and how they depict each band going through their great triumph of getting fame. I think The Rocker kind of does it a little too perfectly. Like, everything goes a little too perfectly for these characters. Like, you know, they end up at the Hall of Fame at the end of the movie and go into, like, a big-name studio. With Duh, they got with a relatively local-known music producer and playing at a well-known local venue. With the Fingers, they ended their little thing with going on tour with the Replacements and opening for them. I would say that both the Fingers and Duh are more realistic, and that's kind of crazy to say considering Duh had to work with a demon guy. But I'm saying it because everything feels a little bit too perfect for the crew in The Rocker. And although the Demon Man did cause a little bit of trouble for the band, I don't care. I think they should have kept him. To me, I would describe Losers Take All as like the band movie of Waiting. When you're watching Waiting, it feels like you're just watching people work in a restaurant and it just feels very real. I feel like Losers Take All does that for people who are living like this, where you're trying to make it as a band and living with slim to no money and hoping to God that a music producer picks you up. Greg is just such a lovable dumbass. You can let me know what you think of any of these movies. I personally think this one is flawless. I'm kidding, although I do have a little bit of biasy just because I am from the good old Memphis, Tennessee. If I had to rank these movies in order of my least liked to most liked, it would be The Rocker, Uncle Peckerhead, and Losers Take All. Hope you guys enjoyed this review. It took me a little while to get out because I was sick for a good 2 weeks just vomiting. It was not fun. If there are any movies you want me to review in the future, let me know, and I will get around to it, maybe. We'll see. Thank you guys for watching the video, and I will catch you in the next one.